For most, Bayern Munich are the best club team in the world at the moment. Not, though, for Gab Marcotti. He is concerned about the lack of depth within this team. Ali and Jules with us. Gab with us as well to talk about this article. Gab, what's your main concern here?
Okay, so first of all, they may well still be the best team in the world, 1 to 11. They're exceptionally good, and they have a couple very good substitutes. But in certain key areas, I think they're undeniably short. That's why they're right back. They're trying to get Sergiño Dest to provide an alternative to Pavard. In midfield, once you get beyond the two starters, there's Corentin Tolisso, who has had his injury problems in the past, and really nobody else apart from Cousins, who's hardly played thus far. And also on the wings, you've got two very good wingers. You've added Leroy Sané, who played all of 12 minutes last year. In Flick's system, with all the games that are going to be played this season, and it is going to be a compressed season, Hansi Flick has made it pretty clear he'd love to have another winger. And this goes beyond, obviously, some of the other issues, the fact that Lewandowski is backed up by Xerxes, the fact that Muller is really backed up by nobody unless you're going to start moving players around. They lost a lot of bodies over the summer. They lost 5 players over the summer, and they've really only brought in 1.
So can they bring in anyone at the moment, Jules? Obviously, still time in the transfer window.
Yeah, I think you could expect them certainly to strengthen that squad. We spoke yesterday on the show about Sergiño Dest and that the need for a right back, someone who either can compete with Pavard or be his number 2, depending on how you want to play. And I think Dest would fill that position so well. And then I think they're also looking at midfield for sure, trying to maybe find a body there, and up front as well. I agree with Gab, someone who could maybe play in all 3 positions up front. Ideally, that would be the best, who could replace Lewandowski and give him a rest, who can also play wide if needed, someone like that. Because, like Gab said, they lost 5 players, and some players who, maybe were not starters, like Coutinho or Perisic, but who were very important players still, and at some point brought a lot to that team. And also, let's not forget that defensively, they got lucky in many respects to be able to have David Alaba stepping in like he did at centre-back, and especially Alphonso Davies then at left-back, because it could have been far more difficult for them defensively with all the injuries they had through the season to cope with that, because even in that department, they were quite light last season.
Ali, do you agree with Gab? Bayern could be relegation fodder this season?
Very much so. Hit all the panic buttons. This is a problem. How can we be so concerned about a team that just got done winning the Champions League and has not lost a game in who knows how long? And in this very long article that Gab wrote, he points that out in the very first paragraph. So hang on to that, Gab. You actually said it. Some of the concerns that both Jules and Gab are bringing on, they had those concerns last year, and it seemed to work out just well. I just think that let's give them some time. There's still some time in the transfer market. It's not done. The business is not done just yet. But the bodies that Gab is talking about that walked out of that door, well, Philippe Coutinho, okay. It's not like everybody was lining up and saying, hey, we want Coutinho. Perisic is also walking out that door, perhaps, okay. Isn't it an upgrade to have Leroy Sané? I think it is. And while we may be concerned about Thiago Alcantara, the truth is that Thiago Alcantara also spent time in the injured list. He, too, was a player that had difficulty staying fit, to the point to where there were moments in which Pavard was playing right back, Kimmich was playing in the middle with Goretzka, and Alcantara was watching from the bench. So, to me, I just think that we're trying to reach and find reasons as to why Bayern may just be vulnerable. But, man, after they just destroy Schalke, it's very difficult to make that argument.
Ali's saying, Gab, you're just writing articles for the sake of it.
No, I'm not. I'm basically addressing the fact that something Hansi Flick has also brought up, and it's something that's actually been a pretty big talking point. That's why they're going for Sergiño Dest. I wouldn't also ignore the fact that how much shorter the season is this year, because you have the Euros coming up in the summer, because the season started later. They're only going to get a 2-week break at Christmas rather than the usual 4.5-week break that they get. So I think this is a concern. And look, I think Jules is right. I think they are going to address it. They have a little time left. They're going to continue to pursue Dest. Maybe they'll get somebody else if they don't get Dest. I think Perisic, they didn't want to meet Inter's agreed upon price, but you can always negotiate. There's no room for Perisic at Inter. Inter need funds. Maybe you can get him back on loan, or maybe you can negotiate a lower fee. And I think in midfield, they may bring somebody in, or maybe trust some of the kids. But it is something that you're concerned about, because you've had big injuries before, and you don't know when it's going to hit, and there's going to be a lot of wear and tear on this team and on these players going into the Euros. This has never happened. We've never had a season like the one that is coming up.
Well, next up for Bayern, they'll be taking on Hoffenheim in the second round of matches in the Bundesliga. Elsewhere, you've got Augsburg taking on Borussia Dortmund, and it's Bayer Leverkusen against Leipzig. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.